Controversy continues to swirl around the performance of computer software needed for this year's ISTEP exams. What one local district is dealing with, plus Dubois Strong hosted their annual luncheon earlier today, and Purdue Extension educator Jan Dugan is tonight's guest for Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin tonight with the growing concerns among local school officials as ISTEP testing approaches. Northeast Dubois School Corporation Curriculum Director Kathy Clawwater says the district has run the test through its computer systems 4 times already. These included 2 stress tests of the CTB McGraw-Hill software that ISTEP Plus uses, along with 2 practice tests to help students get ready. Clawwater says the last of the 4 tests was completed on Monday. She says all 4 of the tests were complete failures due to various issues with the system.
The interface is too difficult to manipulate when it works, and there are numbers of failures in a variety of different ways which have nothing to do with student inputs, that have to do with the software itself. We don't think the test is going to test the students because the students are going to be too busy dealing with the difficulties that they face just trying to get the test to work.
Clawwater says frustration with the test runs district-wide as teachers and staff have also worked on the test only to run into the same problems. Clawwater says the only thing that can come out of this is more frustration.
Students are discouraged. Students don't believe that the interface is going to work for them. And also students tend to rush through the test now. As they go through, we saw it in the practice test, because they're afraid the test is going to break down on them. Teachers are concerned because they see their students and the stress that it's putting on the students, and it also is upsetting to teachers because the context is so difficult for the children to manipulate.
Now, Superintendent Bill Hoaksong told the board that he has been attempting to talk with someone at the State Department of Education offices, but nobody has returned his calls to date. The testing window for Northeast Dubois schools is set to open on Friday. However, school officials say they probably will not start testing until next week in light of all of the problems. Dubois County continues to have the 2nd lowest unemployment rate in Indiana. Numbers released this morning by the Indiana Department of Workforce Development show that the county's rate came in at 4.1% for March, a drop of 1/10 from February. This is the 3rd straight month that Dubois County has been 2nd lowest. Hamilton County continues to lead the way this month at 4% even. Among other local counties, Davies County was tied for 4th at 4.5%. Warwick and Pike counties both came in at 4.9%. Martin County was at 5.3%. Spencer County 5.4%. Perry 5.7%. Orange 7.6%. And Crawford County reported in at 8.4%. The state's highest unemployment rate was at 8.8% in Vermilion County. Now, Indiana saw a loss of 800 private sector jobs last month, though officials say the state has added more than 274,000 private sector jobs since July of 2009. The state's unemployment rate dropped down to 5.8% for the month of March. 2014 was a strong year for economic development locally, but several challenges lie just ahead. This afternoon, officials with Dubois Strong laid out some of the biggest accomplishments of 2014 at the group's annual luncheon at Clubhouse 61 in Jasper. Among the successes were workforce housing projects such as the former Jofco building, nearly 1,100 new jobs added countywide, and shovel-ready sites. Dubois Strong President Ed Cole says today was a day not only to reflect, but also to look forward.
Today was really about how we are doing what we're doing, and May the 8th we're going to institute a new strategic plan. We're going to come together with a meeting, look at what we've done in the past, and quite honestly how we can do it better in the future.
The keynote address for today's luncheon came from Indiana University History Professor Emeritus James Madison. Madison talked about a movement towards 2 Indianas, one that is thriving and the other stuck in the 1970s. On that note, Madison spoke well of Jasper and Dubois County.
I don't want to pose as a Jasper or Dubois County expert, but it's pretty clear that Dubois County is in the 21st century. That Dubois County has moved forward in a way that most places in southern Indiana or across the state have not yet done.
Today's event featured a bit of a unique moment as well. Instead of a speaker's fee, Madison chose to donate a copy of his recently released book to the Dubois County Library System. The book, which was released last year, is titled Hoosiers, A History of Indiana. Library Director Christine Golden was on hand to accept the book. Officials with Purdue Extension of Dubois County say recent changes in farm payments at the federal level should help local farms. The newly proposed rules through the U.S. Department of Agriculture would eliminate payments to anyone designated as a farm manager but not directly involved in farm operations. Purdue Extension Ag Agent Ken X says that change was aimed at large farms and corporations, thus leaving federal money from the program for the smaller local farms.
A couple years ago, farmers made pretty good money after a long spell and maybe a potential long spell going into the future with their payments and with their farm incomes. And what a lot of corporations looked at was, well, maybe we can make some money off of doing the same thing. So what the government's trying to do is keep the family farms afloat, but making sure that the corporations and groups are looking for a way to make money, which is not the design behind that, but it's more or less to keep farmers afloat in case of a disaster. It's getting paid to the right people.
X says these changes, which are part of the farm bill that was passed by Congress last year, will help these smaller farms to keep from going under and thus hurting any local economy. Now, there are some concerns that the proposal does not go far enough. Officials with the Center for Rural Affairs say there are still a lot of loopholes in this proposal. They also say having more than one rule in effect would create confusion for farmers and thus additional problems. The USDA is still seeking public comment on the proposal. Those can be submitted at regulations.gov until May 26th. Building renovations in the Northeast Dubois School Corporation are moving ahead. Last night, the school board completed the paperwork for freeing up needed funding for these improvements. Now, the school board heard last night that 111 signatures were gathered on petitions from the public in favor of these improvements. Last month, Northeast Dubois Superintendent Bill Hoaxong said now is the time to get these improvements done.
To do it right now is perfect timing because we've had basically an increase in our assessed value, which has brought our taxes down, and then we've refinanced our pension bonds, then we refinanced our debt service, and we brought that down a little bit, quite a bit. So what we're asking now is just a little bit of that back and to do some much needed improvements here in our district.
The improvements will be done in two phases. Phase 1 consists of 10 high-priority projects, including new heating and air units at both the high school and middle school gyms, along with replacing classroom rooftop units at the middle school and upgraded controls at all buildings to meet air quality standards. In other business, the board approved the reassignment of high school principal Rick Gladish. Gladish will be moving to the corporation offices this summer as the new Director of School Improvement, Assessment, and Technology. Gladish's last day as high school principal is June 30th. School officials say Gladish will be working with Curriculum Director Kathy Clawwitter initially. Clawwitter is set to retire in December of this year, and Gladish will succeed her at that point. And finally tonight, this week marks the culmination of work on the largest investment in the history of a Spencer County theme park. Thunderbird, which is Holiday World and Splash and Safari's newest roller coaster, opens to the public Saturday. Of course, Thunderbird is the first winged steel roller coaster in Holiday World's history. The price tag came in at $22 million, more than double the amount spent on any other ride in the park's nearly 70-year existence. Holiday World is also unveiling the new Smokehouse restaurant, Hevron's Mercantile Shop, and George's Gluten-Free Pizza and Snacks on opening day Saturday. For more information, you can call 877-463-2645, or you can go to holidayworld.com. All right, coming up after the break, sunshine continues for the next couple of days, and later on, more dieting tips from Purdue Extension educator Jan Dugan. We're back after this.